Here to find out what games we're playing at EVO 2020 this year. So
Exciting
we're gonna make some people happy. We're gonna make some people sad, but we got to do it.
All in a day's work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you got coming down first? You gonna make people happy or sad with this one?
Well, obviously we're gonna make people happy on the first one.
Okay,
right?
that's good.
So the first game in 2020 is the most entered game from last year. A lot of people traveled in to kind of test their strength of the brand new game from Nintendo, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Hey.
No surprise there.
No.
Right? And the game is Tekken 7. So Tekken 7 is back this year.
Anyway, so we got more games coming up. What else you got coming down the
All right,
pipe?
so the third game in EVO 2020 is a game that has been a staple for many years at EVO. It's definitely around to stay, and they're in I believe their 4th season of content, and it's Street Fighter V.
I think it's 5th.
Street Fighter V.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Those first 3, I just want to say,
They're
it's like
gimmies, right?
They're kind of
They're
gimmies.
gimmies, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just go from there. The 4th game in EVO 2020 is a very popular versus game, and we've had the same grand finals 2 years in a row, and it'd be awesome if they came back for a 3rd year. So we're looking at Dragon Ball FighterZ,
yes.
or Dragon Ball Fighters. All right, so the 5th game in EVO 2020 is a game that was brand new last year, and it was a huge hit. We had a good 1,800 people that entered, and it was really cool, and it was old school. It was all about just poking and glitches and defense, and it was awesome because we don't see that in a lot of games now. And so the 5th game of EVO 2020 is Samurai Shodown.
Yes, all right. I knew where you were going as soon as you said old school.
So the 6th game in EVO 2020 is a brand new title this year. It has never been an EVO, and I don't think it's going to come as a lot of shock to people, but it's Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people are looking forward to this game. It comes out, and so the 6th game is Soul Calibur 6.
Awesome, excellent.
Yeah, we definitely like this game, and
The last 2.
so the 7th game in EVO 2020 is a game we brought on last year because the community kind of supported it for a very long time without any kind of official support. And we kind of gave them a chance, and they worked out really well. They were really supportive of us and liked what we did, and it kind of just boosted the whole scene. And so we're happy to have back Under Night in Birth, executable, late, CLR.
What? Excellent, man. Well, we'll see what happens with that. That's 7 games. We only got.
Oh, that's 8 games.
That's 8 games?
Yeah, that's 8 games,
Oh.
right?
Snaps.
We're
Okay.
we're out of games.
Oh, well, okay, that's it. Well, that sounds like you got a full roster. How excited are you? Are you ready to start getting to work?
We're really excited about everything, but we got one little special surprise.
Here, see, this is the stuff.
So
This
we
is what I
got a big anniversary this year.
a big anniversary.
It's
Okay.
the 20th anniversary of a game that has been in our tournament in the past, and it was very popular. Do you know what game this is, Mike?
Of course I do.
All right, what game is that?
That was me acting. How was my acting skills?
Okay.
Did you believe it?
No.
I have no idea what game it is.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's the 20th
It's so
anniversary. It's a big
stupid.
anniversary. We had Marvel 2 and EVO for like 10 years.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh, I've never been. I'm looking forward to that. You got me excited. I did not see that coming. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Those are the titles that we're playing at EVO 2020 this year, and we're pretty excited to have it.
So we got 8 games plus kind of a how would you label the Marvel thing?
It's like Marvel
Marvel Invitation.
It's we
Marvel.
call it it's the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Tournament of Champions.
What's up, everyone? So we all saw that video, unless you skipped it, but either way, the gist of it, EVO lineup show or whatever that they do every year was last night, and MK11 is not on the lineup. No MK11. Very strange decision from, like, I feel like no one in the NRS community truly expected it. Like, the thing is EVO hasn't treated NRS games that well for a long time. And they know they don't treat us well. We know they don't treat us well. People from the NRS community have said how they don't treat us well. So in that sense, it was not completely unexpected because we know they don't really like NRS games. But it was still unexpected because, you know, EVO is one of the biggest tournaments in the world regardless. It's always been part of, like, NRS games have always been part of it since we've been in the competitive scene. MK9 had it there 2011, 2012, and 2013, 3 years. Injustice 1 was there 2013 and 2014. MKX was there 2015, 2016. Injustice 2 was there 2017, 2018. And MK11 was there 2019. So we all kind of expected it to be there again this year, but it's not. So no MK11 at EVO this year. Ultimately, it's not like it's the worst thing that could happen because, as I was saying before, they didn't really treat our game that well or our community that well to begin with. Like, we wouldn't get a primetime spot or slot or whatever. Regardless, we had, I think it was MKX 2016. I distinctively remember doing, like, all the matches to top 8, and it was like Saturday night. We had a Sunday spot in the arena for 2016. We had to wake up to play or to view top 8 at 8 a.m., right? We had to be there at 8 a.m. We didn't finish, like, our matches or whatever because we only had, like, one setup or some shit to, like, play our matches on. So we didn't finish until, like, it must have been, like, either 12 at night or 1 in the morning or something. And we were expected to still, you know, go straight to bed, wake up, play the games or view the games the next day. It was kind of ass. And on top of that, I remember, like, all of top 32, all of top 16, we were all sitting on the floor, on the concrete floor, watching the matches played on the monitor itself that the players were playing on. We had to all stand behind that same monitor to spectate because they didn't give us, like, a screen, like a projector screen to watch on. I distinctively remember that, and I distinctively remember everyone saying how poorly we were treated at EVO that year. But regardless, let's talk about some stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is, why is MK11 not there? And I feel like I kind of covered that. Like, we're not, obviously the relationship hasn't been the greatest. We did pull really good entrance numbers, though, for MK11 last year. I believe it was in the range of 1,600. And that was the biggest Mortal Kombat tournament ever. Like, we've never had numbers that big before, and it was massive. And yeah, it was a really big tournament. A lot of people showed up, whatever. We probably would have got really good numbers again this year. I don't think it would have been in the 1,600 range because generally with NRS titles, the first year tends to be better for entrance numbers than the next year. And then, you know, new game comes out, cycle repeats. That's kind of what it's been. But it seems like I'm not going to say anything about the games that are at EVO because I'm not going to say whether or not these games deserve to be at EVO. I think every game has its, like, community behind it, whatever, and I'm sure the games that are there, the people that play them, they're happy for it. I'm not going to bash those games. But it would have been nice for NRS to have a game there, because now there's essentially no reason for any NRS players to go unless they play the other games. I think one thing that a lot of people might not know about is to have your game at EVO. I think it goes beyond just entrant numbers and whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure companies and whatever have to pay, like, a dollar figure to get their game to be at EVO. Like, companies have to pay thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to have your game showcased at EVO because it's such a big event. And, like, there's always crap ton of viewers, blah, blah, blah. So, like, companies will pay to have their game at EVO, displayed at EVO, so that there's a lot more hype and whatever around their game. So, It's very possible, I don't know for certain, but it's very possible that Warner Brothers and NRS had to pay some crazy amount of money to be at EVO. 100% we would not have gotten a Sunday spot because we didn't get one last year when the game was brand new. So we would have got a Saturday spot. If we were at EVO, NRS Warner Brothers would have had to pay a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And maybe they just felt it wasn't worth it. Maybe they felt it's not worth it to pay this much money to get the game there. Maybe they are planning to use that money that they're not spending on EVO towards something else for the community. Maybe it's going towards bigger prize pools for a season 2 of a pro series. Maybe it's going towards some other event of some sort. Maybe they're planning to do something. Maybe, I don't know. But let's take a look at Twitter for some of the NRS people and just see what they have to say. All right, so we're currently on Tyler Lansdowne's Twitter. It says here, community manager for NetherRealm Studios. Mortal Kombat is here. #Chiefs. #Royals. So, Tyler Lansdowne is the community manager for NRS. He's also a huge fan of the Chiefs. If we look through his feed, it doesn't seem like he's actually stated anything regarding MK11 not being at EVO. But if we do look at his tweets and replies, let me see here. He did make a response to Brent McCaskill, aka Pig of the Hut, for those of you that don't know. He said here, I sincerely hope by MK11 NRS WB missing out on EVO for the first time since 2010 is a guaranteed sign for WB dating. I think it should be stating. It will put that funding into our own events. Plus, it means that way more majors around 2020 have backing. Community should get direct answers on this. And he tags Tyler Lansdowne. Tyler Lansdowne says, we are excited about Final Combat. I have no news to report at the moment. So there's nothing further for him to say, I guess. So if we look at Stephanie Brownback over here, aka 16-bit, she works at NRS as a QA analyst. She's on Combat Cast all the time. And if we look here, I think she said something. Here. This is what she said after the announcement of MK11 not being at EVO was just go to Combo Breaker. So that's all we really have right now. Go to Combo Breaker. Combo Breaker has always been an amazing event for NRS. It's always been great to go to. It's always been one of my personal favorite tournaments. And it seems like the community is kind of shifting to, okay, well, if we're not going to be at EVO, we've always loved Combo Breaker. And we've actually just discussed before how Combo Breaker should be our quote-unquote EVO because they treat our game better, the event's amazing, everything. And yeah, maybe Combo Breaker should just be our EVO. So let's continue our exploration of some NRS big names out here. Look at Sonic Fox, who says, interesting that MK11 isn't at EVO despite the numbers it pulled last year. I'm sensing politics. Pig says here, pure politics, zero question, $, $signs. So it's essentially what I was trying to get at before about, like, there is a lot of money involved in getting your game at EVO. Very possible Warner Brothers and NRS didn't want to spend the money. Regardless, I have high hopes for MK11's future. Go to Combo Breaker, says Sonic. Interesting. Rick says, where's MK? He's the organizer for Combo Breaker. He says, where's MK? Sonic's like, in your hands. All right, let's look at what some other people said. So Ketchup has said quite a few things. Here he says, no Mortal Kombat at EVO this year is really strange to me considering last year was by far the largest MK tournament in history. I'm sure it will still be a great event for other communities all the same, but it's still quite a shocker to me. He says, that said, it's no mystery that NRS games don't have an amazing track record of being treated with respect at EVO. In 2017, for the first year in Injustice 2, Top 8 was literally started before Top 8 was even decided. Players were being rushed to the main stage at one time. I do distinctively remember that tournament. It's kind of funny. They actually, Injustice 2, Top 8 had started, and they didn't even know who the losers brackets, like who made it in the losers bracket side, so when they were showing like a bracket on screen, they kind of just like skipped it, and they just kind of acted like, don't worry about it, you know. It's kind of funny because I think Tekken Master was still like trying to qualify or something like that. EVO 2016 mass organization issues for MKX, with Saturday ending extremely late at night with an 8 a.m. top 8 the next day. This is, yeah, what I was talking about. Not one single chair for the stream area. EVO 2018, basically all top 16 to top 8 was played off stream so they could stream Tekken Stage 1 pools. Yeah, we've actually had quite a few EVOs where like top 16 just was not streamed, and like people couldn't see the reaction of players like when they qualified for like the top 8. Like people just never got to see a lot of those matches, a lot of those reactions, a lot of those moments just weren't on stream because they just didn't, you know, bother putting us there. So yeah, that's kind of what Ketchup's talking about. Some of that stuff I kind of covered earlier. He also says here, major issues have plagued NRS at EVO. Most years I gave the impression we weren't really cared about, but I'm always a firm believer in growth and change for the better. Should MK ever return to Las Vegas, I hope change is made. If not, we have many world-class events still. This is just a video of them, the EVO crowd saying Mortal Kombat.
On 3, 2, 1. This is going to be a ridiculous topic.
Some of the hype of last year EVO. And here's what Mustard has to say. It's really weird not seeing MK11 in the EVO 2020 lineup. MK at EVO 2019 was the largest Mortal Kombat tournament of all time. Definitely thought it'd be a lock. I know that there are always games that just don't make it the cut, but it's still disappointing. Let me see. Going to try not being disheartened though. We still have Final Combat coming up, Spawn on the way, Combo Breaker, plus all the other major events for the year. Absolutely still going to have our big milestones for our players to aim to achieve. So, you know, it's not all doom and gloom not being at EVO. Like, I think the community will be all right. A lot of it does rest in the hands of how NRS and Warner Brothers, I think, play it with like a season 2. I think that does matter, but I think also just attendance and support of the other events that have always shown us love does matter. Like attend, you know, Combo Breaker, attend CEO, attend KIT, attend Biggie's events like NEC, you know, East Coast Throwdown. Like a lot of these events have always, you know, been there showing us love, so it's important to just continue like showing love back. So if we look at Mr. Aquaman, his first tweet when the news dropped says, "Welp, rest in peace, NRS at EVO. What's sad is our community isn't surprised, just another slap in the face in a long line of them. Final Combat and Combo Breaker are next for us though, so see you there." And says, "What I hope happens, WB and NRS takes the money EVO wanted and puts it into Pro Comp Season 2 and goes even crazier, instead supporting more events and regions." So that's what I believe as well. I think that's definitely the move that NRS should be making. But I would like to give my input, and my input is that the finals and like the Pro Tour events for MK11 or for NRS games in general, it seems like they started with Injustice 1, right? Or not Injustice 1, with Injustice 2 Year 1. They had 16 people qualify, right? For the finals, they did the same thing with the Season 2, and they did the same thing with MK11 Year 1 for the Pro Series. I really, really feel like NRS should try to do what Capcom does when they get a 32-man qualifier, whatever thing, like 32 people qualify for the finals, and then they play, and then they have this whole big event surrounding it. I think that since they're not spending as much money when it comes to like attending EVO and whatever, and having their game at EVO, I'm sure they would be saving a lot of money. And if they were to somehow put that money into a Season 2 of the Pro Series and have it as like a 32-man whatever people qualify, and they could include additional regions, you know, like get a couple more people from maybe Latin America, get some people from maybe Africa, maybe Asia, maybe Australia, or not Australia, Oceania, I should say, as qualifying spots. I think they really could do something special right now when it comes to the Pro Series. Instead of having 16 people, I really think if they branched it out and got 32 people instead, and had them gave them more opportunities, especially like around the world, to compete, I think that would be the perfect response right now from NRS in terms of what's next for MK. Because not being at EVO generally is a pretty big bummer when it comes to like keeping your game alive, because people always look forward to EVO. People always want to prove themselves at EVO. I had a great moment at EVO when I got second place with the Flash and Justice 2, and like it's just a great, it's a tournament that just has so much eyes on it that not being there can hurt the community, but NRS and Warner Brothers have the chance to really change the way people view it if they were to announce something big for MK11 to show that they are really behind the game and they want to be behind the tournament scene and everything. So as far as I'm concerned, not being at EVO, it does suck, but it's not the worst thing in the world. A lot of it will just come down to how does NRS and Warner Brothers and everything that's involved, how do they respond to not having their game at EVO? What are they going to do instead? And hopefully it's going to be something good, and hopefully we have something to look forward to. But that's just my input. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about MK11 not being at EVO this year. See you guys next time.